Everybody has an opinion.
No, I don't think so.
I employ that bloke for when gigs are going bad.
To look incredibly rock and roll.
How would you cook that?
Be more entertaining. I'm glad you like that. It's a little bit of weed.
Welcome back.
Oh, wow.
Episode 26 of This Week in Comedy, guys.
Fantastic.
And we're in winter. We're in June. It's cold. It's miserable. Do you know who's not cold and miserable? It's our guest for this week, Morry. It's Trevor Marmalade.
Trevor Marmalade.
And a very good day to all of you.
Hello, Trev. How are you?
I'm very well. Nice to be here. Nice to be anywhere, actually.
Just down the road. I won't say where you live, but you do live almost just down the road.
Yes, I do. Yes, in Port Melbourne from South Melbourne.
Oh, there we go. All right. He gave it away, folks. Yeah, so if you want to see Trevor Marmalade on the street in the wild, you just go down to the beach at middle of winter.
I think if you hang at Creme, you'll probably see me at whatever time I get up.
Oh, okay. Creme,
the coffee shop.
Oh, right. Okay.
Just downstairs from where I live.
Fantastic. Well, he's giving it away, folks. So,
First protocol. So, yes, pop on down.
Yeah. Paparazzi know where to go now.
That's it. There's a lot of you always run into someone around this area, South Melbourne. I always run into Marty Fields at Chemist Warehouse. Bro's always at Chemist Warehouse, which, to be fair, means so am I,
Yes.
to be able to see him. But, yeah, we both clearly are very unwell.
Marty Fields, if I may tell a quick story of Marty. Marty rides a bike around like it's not a racing bike. It's more of a Japanese city tourer bike, if you know what I mean, like these for city touring.
Like the really lightweight ones?
No. These are you wouldn't steal one, is what I'm saying.
Right.
It's a bit nerdy.
Nerd alert!
Okay.
Yeah, it's got a basket on the front, and if you have a look at Japanese,
A basket.
a basket.
Okay.
Yeah, a basket. yes.
Now I've got the picture.
And
It's
Marty,
a grown man riding a bike with a basket.
that's great.
Does
And
he
a
ride
dog.
side saddle? Or?
No, he rides it glaringly fast through crowds of students getting off buses in front of the Melbourne Sports Aquatic Centre, screaming, "Get out of the way!" as his dog runs beside him. And I saw this all from my vantage point, which was at the gym, looking down, thinking, "There's Marty Fields." And I happened to finish this is almost funny in the moment. I happened to finish my session and walk down, and the bus driver was still there. And I said, "Oh, I saw that guy race through those children." He goes, "Yeah, he was a prick." And I said, "Yeah, that." And then I threw out a name of a comedian that wasn't Marty Fields. He's a prick. Yeah. And Lily, you know who I might have been talking about.
Yeah, I think I can think of a couple.
Yeah. So I didn't want it. Marty, your secret is safe with me.
Well, I actually used to live directly across the road from Morry.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I assume Marty was living there too.
Yeah.
At some point.
That's right, just off Clarendon Street.
And and as it turned out, I finished up when I was working on Hey Hey at Saturday. It was my job to go through the great Aussie jokes that were sent in.
Yes.
And I would leave the Hey Hey office and take home like a pile of manila folders a couple of foot high.
Yep.
And I'd go through them, and then I would put the jokes that were usable into a folder and slide them under Morry's door.
Yep. And this is 1980s usable? It wouldn't be usable in 2026, I'm assuming.
Just rubbish though. Not offensive, but just
Not offensive.
just bad. Dad! Well, in those days before the internet, people used to tell each other jokes.
Yeah.
And
right.
jokes went around.
Yep.
So basically, if there was a joke going around, then I would receive 100 different versions of that.
Yep.
But the point being that there were so few jokes left in the folder that they could slide under the door at Morry's. They were
Pretty.
He used to say to me, "Mate, just read the punchlines. Don't go through the whole lot."
Right.
Morry Fields actually tells one of the apocryphal comedy stories about his time as a stand-up comedian back in the 50s. Him and Roy Reen were touring around the country and going to all the back blocks, and they were on their way to Broken Hill.
Yeah.
And they're on the road there. They're about an hour outside of Broken Hill, and on the roadside there's like a road gang working with pick and shovel, shirts off in the blazing heat.
Convicts.
Not convicts,
just workers.
but workers.
Okay,
but
right.
workers there. But they're, chiseled, they're, in the 50-degree heat, toiling away. And as they drove past, Mo hangs his head out the window of the car and goes, "What's the matter with you blokes? Too fucking lazy to write a joke."
Yeah, right.
They would have loved that. Wow.
And back then, he didn't have any speed limits, and I'm sure he probably used all 100% of that lack of speed limit to get out of there.
Yeah, say really fast.
Yeah, that's great. And it does imply that comedians are the hardest working entertainers. Well, yeah, a little bit of history. Lily.
That's actually a really interesting point as well, that before the internet, jokes really did live or die on being told to other people, right? Like I'm sure you read, someone got a scroll out in their ink or whatever and wrote one down and
we
mailed it.
We all knew people who were great joke tellers.
Right.
And it was actually a skill.
So a good joke could really be killed by someone retelling it terribly. It's like, I'm not going to retell that. And it was a great joke, but interesting. Whereas now we all read it in our own cadence in our head on the internet and we all think we're great, right? So it's like, that was a good joke.
But that was the thing, that if someone told you a joke that was a good joke teller, then you would repeat it as told. So that was half the skill.
Yeah.
And you generally find the people who weren't great joke tellers were probably more listeners.
Like the listeners of this podcast, perhaps.
Well, we're going to learn a little bit more about the last few decades of your comedy career over the next 35, 45 minutes.
That's it. As we always do, let's jump right into the news. Andy Lee's Do Not Watch This Show is returning for a second season. The new season launches on ABC iView on the 3rd of July, with Andy back as Wiz alongside Denise Scott, Joel Creasy and Kura Forrester, as well as Dave Hughes.
Dave Hughes, he's not in enough shows.
No, I think he could probably be in a few more. I don't think he's represented enough.
He might be under the desk. Dave, are you there? No, he's not here.
Not here.
But wouldn't be
He has
surprised.
never said no to a gig.
That is probably his superpower.
That is the thing.
That is his superpower, and that is why he has evolved and become, synonymous with Australian
Dave, we've
humour.
got a show coming up. Yes, I'll do it. What is it?
That's great.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Was that not your philosophy as well, Trevor?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, as you go through your career, at first, as a stand-up, you take every single gig that comes in.
Yep.
And you sort of realise as you go along that, maybe you should, consider a bit more carefully where you go. I mean, back in the day I did gigs for like the Hells Angels and stuff. Or,
Right.
Found myself at a property at back of Geelong somewhere doing a gig on the back of a tray truck for the Rebels motorcycle gang.
Right.
Stuff like that.
Who books that?
Well, I myself. Yeah. Like the phone would just ring at home and you pick it up and, as on the other end of the line, g'day, Trev, it's Ball Bearing from the Hells Angels here. You can call me Ball.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, sure,
Not
Ball.
Mr. Bearing? Okay.
Yeah, no, we got a gig coming up. And how do you say no?
No, so I'll make you an offer you can't refuse
And
kind of call, isn't it?
It was the funniest gig. I mean, turned up, it was at the Corner Hotel for a bunch of Hells Angels, and it was a cash gig for twice as much as I'd normally get.
Yep.
And talk about tough crowd.
Yep.
I'm up there doing the bit. I'm thinking like there's a lot of really sort of beefy looking blokes with their arms folded, and this is not really going anywhere. And it was barely okay, I guess. And I got off the stage and Ball was there going, mate, that was fantastic. He said, here, because I was getting off the stage about to go, mate, keep your cash. Like, yeah, it's free. And he went, I threw in something a bit extra there for you.
Wow.
So the guy we had last year was shit. I'm going, wow, how did they go?
Yeah, right. Was the ink on the notes still there, the blue ink?
Oh, don't worry, no, they pay. They pay, don't
good.
worry.
Yeah. Oh, good. And did you also say that you did a show for the Rebels then as well?
Yeah, it was.
Didn't give anything away between, it was.
Because
they're not really rival sporting teams, are they? They're a bit more dangerous than
they're
that.
not. But so yeah, they were based out of Geelong, and so it was at a property in the back blocks of Geelong somewhere. And yeah, they had a trade truck and they had bands and stuff like that. But I remember driving into the gig, and as I was coming up the very long driveway, there was an ambulance came past me the other way, and I thought, wow, I hope that's not the support act.
Yeah. My goodness.
ABC has published a profile of Australian comedian Will Gibb, looking at his move from online short-form comedy into his first major acting role. Gibb plays Kitty Flanagan's son, Ryan, in Bad Company, the new sitcom created by Anne Edmonds, which just wrapped up. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
Filmed at the MTC, it looked like.
I don't know. I think that often when do you know the show, Trevor, that we're talking about? It's an ABC show. It's about a theatre. One could imagine it being any sort of, it's almost country-like, isn't it? The theatre. It's the Argyle.
Yeah,
which
the
is
Argyle.
named after the main character's father, Papa, yeah, who started it. And Will Gibb, who you're talking about, is probably more famous from his social media, but he does do stand-up. And perhaps his biggest stand-up, probably the biggest stand-up show that I've seen of him was him screaming at the audience that they're awful. And that went viral, but it was all an in-joke. They then released the prequel to that, which was him telling the audience, right, we're going to do this scene where I'm really angry and we'll see if we can make this go viral, which it did. So, yeah, he was quite offensive to the audience. And the audience, to be fair, were quite offensive to him.
Was this during Comedy Festival just recently?
Oh, I think it was prior.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
to that. So that certainly got his name out there.
Yeah,
I
for
thought,
sure.
who is this guy?
Well, I'd followed him previously online, the content that he makes with Tilly Oddie Black. I remembered her name.
Right.
They both do separate content and together, and very funny. So I'm really interested in seeing a lot of stand-ups who, well, quote unquote stand-ups who make short form content and then go to stand-up. I think that's a really hard transition. First, I think you have your audience that would follow you. But to be doing regular stand-up, yeah, it's interesting. But he was awesome. I really liked him.
Good actor too.
So dry,
Yeah.
so funny, just very natural.
No, we've had a bit of a theory, Trevor, that stand-up comedians in particular, compared to, say, improv or impro, whichever side of the coin you flip, are better, that stand-up comedians are better actors because, well, my theory is that because they're very scripted, very rehearsed, but on the day of the show, you've got to get up there and perform like it's a brand new joke that you've only just heard yourself. What's your thoughts on that? And more importantly, are you a good actor?
I don't know. I've never really had much of an opportunity to act, I have to say. Well, I think with stand-up comedians, if you've been doing it for long enough, then you've actually found your sort of comic persona and your comic voice, and that is what you take to acting.
Yep.
So I think having that and, you know, having a very clear sense about what your comic persona does and doesn't do is really a handy asset to have coming in. Whereas, I don't know, I can't speak for improv people.
Yep.
But, I mean, they probably have a different range of acting skills, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. So you've never done a working dog production, being an extra in behind Tony Martin?
Oh, yeah. I was, just a couple of bit parts, really.
Yeah.
But, nothing more than, a few sentences that I would call acting.
All right. Would you call out to our listeners if there's a part for Trevor? Would you take it up?
For sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, we're good. All right. Stay tuned.
See, for comedians, to turn up and someone else has done all the work, that it's all written and you just got to stand there and say it, that's not even like work.
Yeah, right.
Well, speaking of, Sam Pang's new AFL satire, Ground Up, maybe should have given you a call. It lands on ABC iView this weekend. The series stars Pang as an AFL administrator trying to establish a Tasmanian team and get a new stadium built.
Now, I saw some early runs of that, and I have to say, I'm a big fan of Bad Company.
Okay.
Yeah, look,
It sounds very John
damning.
Clarkish, doesn't it?
Well, Bad Company was the one we were just talking about, the Argyle. I think the acting there is a little bit smoother, is all I'm saying, Sam. Sorry, mate. It is a bit along the lines of the games. And then later on, Frontline, a little bit of Frontline. That was the news studio, wasn't it, with
Well, Frontline was Working Dog.
Working Dog?
I
Yep.
did a cameo in that.
You did? Very good. And Utopia, of course. They continued on with kind of the trans-urban organisation. But so tell me more about this Sam Pang show. It's about AFL Tasmania.
So he's an AFL administrator and he's trying to preserve and get this keep this Tasmanian team going, like establish them and get a new stadium built because their facilities are just so like dilapidated and like terrible. Well, I mean, Tasmanian. Do we have a Tasmanian? Oh, I'm not a football person. Hey, Trev, do you know anything about AFL?
Well, normally you have to point to Trev. On that note, before you give us an answer, how did you get the attention of the hosts on the footy show so that you had a great joke?
Look, I could just wave.
Oh, you waved?
No, Eddie was just totally clued in, but also set up the cameras so that I was sort of semi in his eye line.
Uh-huh.
Like the first show we did, Eddie's camera that he worked to was sort of about 15 metres down the studio.
Yep.
So I got it moved so it was like basically sort of next to me and a little bit behind.
Yep.
So I could basically just lean a little bit to my left.
Yeah.
And give him a nod, and he'd be straight there. And he was always just, he was such a great host that, and he knew that, if I've got something, come straight away.
Yep.
Because, if the conversation progresses, you
lost.
just can't go back and fetch it. It just doesn't work that way.
Like I've just done to you, unfortunately, right now. Did you have a comment to Lily's part about the Tasmanian? She said she's not a footy person, not into football.
Tasmania, they must have.
They do. The Tasmanian,
at least on the VFL
Devils.
level.
Actually, I go back a long way with Sam, to be honest. Years ago, we were doing a show called Glossing Over, which was a Saturday morning show on 3AW.
Sam Newman here? Or
Sam
Pang?
Sam Pang.
Sam Pang, okay.
And I was doing the show with Dr. Turf and Tony Leonard. And we had sort of various producers over the course of the show. But Sam was our producer for probably a couple of years. And the hallmark of that was that we told him that, we preferred to have the guests live in the studio rather than on the phone, if possible. And over that 2 years, we just had so many guests came in, do the show, and at the end of it, they went, I had absolutely no intention of coming in here live, but your producer was so nice, I just couldn't say no.
That's amazing.
And so yes, and he used to say to me at the time, I'm a performer as well, Trev. Or a performer. Going, yeah, okay, yeah, I believe you.
Yeah.
And so years later, I got an email from him saying that that he wasn't getting a lot of work, and keep an eye out for him. And I went, oh mate, I'll sling you something. Just send me a page of gags, every week for the footy show. And so he did that for I think a year or two maybe. But the funny thing was, considering the great success and how fantastic he was on the front bar, is that he basically never sent me anything I used.
Which, to be fair, in TV writing isn't uncommon. Sometimes people can slave away for
it's
ages.
a different type of thing, writing one-liners than
Yeah.
being sort of part of a humorous conversation.
For sure. I think as something for the behinders, view, Sam Pang is very well loved by. I think I've never heard anyone say anything bad behind the scenes.
He's just such a lovely guy.
He's so adored by everyone.
He really is.
And yet he's kind of a grumpy character. Is he like that off stage as well?
No.
He's such a sweetie.
Yeah, no, he really is. He's always got that big smile on his face. He's just, as I said,
he's a
people used to come
gracious
into the
guy.
studio because they couldn't say no to him.
Yeah, right. Okay. There we go. Tenacity. Actually, tenacity is the well, you're right. So, of the top 5 qualities of a successful stand-up comedian, over my 10-year observation, the number 1 is tenacity. Yeah. Number 5 is ability. So I won't tell you the others, but tenacity. Sounds like Sam Pang has tenacity.
What a tenacious young chap. Shout out to young Pang.
I don't know if tenacious is the first word I'd use to describe
Okay.
him, but there we go.
All right, Tim Minchin has backed a new performer support fund at the Edinburgh Fringe. Gilded Balloon has launched the Show Support Fund on the 29th of May to help artists with the costs of bringing work to the Fringe, with the first donation coming from Tim and Sarah Minchin.
That is one legendary gig, the Gilded Balloon. That's the late night gig in Edinburgh, and it's renowned for being a very rowdy crowd.
Rowdy. Yeah. Sort of maybe...
hard room to work sometimes.
Do you say like the Exford of Edinburgh, maybe?
Yeah, possibly.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
That gives a lot of context for me. Don't use the bathrooms at either place if you can help it. And finally, in the news, behind the scenes in UK comedy, BBC comedy boss John Petrie is leaving after 5 years to join Hat Trick, the company behind Have I Got News for You, Derry Girls, which I love, and Smoggy Queens. Emma Lawson will step in as interim director of comedy. So that's a pretty big role, director of comedy at BBC.
They've got Bluey as well, haven't they? We learned from a previous episode that...
Well, we don't.
Well, did you know the Bluey, the cartoon that was created, I think, in Brisbane originally, was sold to the ABC, but the ABC didn't have enough money. They was 30% short, so they went to the BBC and they said, "Hey guys, can you give us 30? We only want 30%. That's all we want." And the BBC grabbed their arms, pulled it behind their back, slammed the Australian ABC's head into the table, and took all of world merch and all of world rights.
Nice.
Now, do you know what's also in the rest of the world? America. 360 million people, and obviously a lot of spending capability. And of course,
and they breed.
They breed. They're making more
breed the
Americans.
audience.
Yeah, they're making more Americans. Is that what you're saying?
As we speak.
Right. And so we don't see as an Australian company, as a quasi-Australian government business that money. Anyway, we don't see a cent of that financial gain globally.
Another natural resource.
Exactly. Yes, we need to tax the BBC 25% on all goodies reruns.
A few years ago, the Bluey, whoever owns Bluey back then, sued a bunch of sticker companies in America because they were making decals. It's huge in America. And they were making car decals with Bluey in like US military uniform holding like guns and stuff.
Right.
And people were like, this isn't what Bluey's about. He wouldn't enlist. And if he was, he'd be in the Australian Defence Force.
And Lily, I just,
She.
I just want to pick up as a proud feminist. I am offended that you misgendered Bluey. Bluey is a female dog. She's a bitch.
As a proud misogynist, I'm not sorry. No. Good stuff. All right. I think it's time to crack open these monstrous beers that you've brought in.
Right.
Get on the beers. That's appropriate. Just do it.
So, well done to the beer gods, because we have been, Lily and I, and Trevor, you may not know from listening to many of our podcasts, that there are beers out there that are 330 mils. Now, the Australian standard, probably for the last 175 years, is 375 mils. For a can. Go into any pub that changes completely. A pot and a pint are all different. But in can world, 375 is the standard, and we are seeing on the shelves in Australia today 355 and 330. Well, Colonial Brewery Company, or as they go around the traps these days as CB Co, have reached out and they've said, we've come out with a 500 ml can. Now, they're not the first to come out with a 500 ml.
No.
The Japanese have been doing it for many years, Asahi, Sapporo, and so on. But this is
sometimes more is more.
More is more money, or is more expensive?
More beer.
More is more beer, yeah.
I like that. But it's certainly not 330. So they heard our cry, and they not only delivered 2 cans of beer, but a whole case.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Or
is
slab.
this our first sponsor?
It is technically our first sponsor, yes. Trevor, do you use the word case or slab or carton to describe?
Probably
24?
a slab.
A slab. Victorian, obviously.
Yes.
Yes, because we had Rusty Berthy here in the studio last week. He's from Brisbane, and he said a carton.
Okay.
Which is for those
A carton of 4X?
carton of 4X, it would have been for him. Yep. Alrighty.
Now, this is a beautiful can as well. This is the 20th anniversary release. Refreshing and full of flavour, this tropical pale ale is a homage to our home states, inspired by Margaret River's laid-back lifestyle and Melbourne's vibrant culture.
That's right. So we want to add, this is a WA beer. Yeah. Well done. We're going to open that up.
Yum, delicious.
Trevor, did you used to drink beer? I know we offered a beer, but you said no.
No, I've never been a beer drinker.
No.
I did it during my teen years, but
Yep.
one day I just went, hang on a sec. Why am I trying to impress people by drinking beer when I actually don't like it?
Well, I'm trying to impress you by drinking a 500 ml beer. Are you impressed?
Yeah, well, chug it. That's how to impress me.
Oh, that'll make me puke.
Not much else to say. It's a nice pale ale.
1.7 drinks. So it's almost like drinking 2 beers, I guess. That's right.
Excellent. So it's an efficient beer. It's a beer for when you're on the go. You don't have time to crack 2. You just need 1. You need it fast. This is the beer.
And a call out to any other brewers out there. You can be mainstream, or you can be a cottage industry. We do take bribes.
Absolutely, we do. Yeah. All righty. And now that we've had some libations, let's move on to a bit of history. On the 2nd of June, 2 Australian comedy figures share a birthday. Does anyone know? Morry's trying to think.
Well, it's got to be Dave Hughes, surely. He's in everything, isn't he?
Tom Gleeson was born on the 2nd of June, 74, in Gunnedah. Gunnedah, yeah, it'd be Gunnedah.
Yep.
New South Wales.
So he's Canadian.
He's Canadian. And Doe.
Yeah.
Where do you reckon he was born?
Vietnam.
Yeah, Ho Chi Minh City, baby.
Oh, the big one, the North.
In 77.
Yep.
So happy birthday to those 2 lads.
Yeah, well done. He is now more an artist, isn't he, than a comedian?
Gleeson.
Gleeson. Well, Tom Gleeson is an artist. He's a drummer of the band The Grats. Have you heard The Grats, Trevor?
I can't say I've had the pleasure of The Grats.
Well, you probably know Tripod. So you know Stephen Gates from Tripod. I think he's the guitarist. Rusty Bertha, who was on the show, he's bassist and he's from Scare Weird Little Guys. Mm-hmm. Who else? Tom on drums, Sammy J on keyboard, and the last being Andrew Hansen from the Chaser, New South Wales. And apparently Andrew and Tom were in the band together back in their teen years.
Getting the band back together.
They kind of did, didn't they? And not a bad run. Anyway, my point being is artists, comedians aren't just comedians. They can be an artist. Are you an artist yourself?
No, I bucked the trend. In my family, there's a lot of good painters and drawers, but I'm more a verbal person.
He's a bullshit artist.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. through to my father's side of the family rather than my mother's, as far as that goes.
Third generation.
But Arndot, you got to hand it to Arndot. I mean, the way he did that show where people sat for their portraits, I mean, some of the stuff he got out of people was just absolutely unbelievable. Like, to have Alan Jones sit there and admit that they totally lied about their campaign that the ALP were going to bring in a death tax and it swung the election in their favour.
Wow.
Was just an amazing admission, but just what people do when they're sitting there and they feel like they have to make the running themselves. Also, and likewise, Gay Waterhouse was actually boasting that she won more prize money in horse racing for the Queen than any other Australian trainer, whereas she never actually had a horse run in the Queen's name.
There we go. So yeah, Undo is like a ASIO, is he? It's like he can break a person without actually torturing them.
Well, he's actually got that same Sampang thing. He's just such a lovely guy.
Yeah.
He's just so personable. He's always got the big grin.
Oh, and I loved when he started his early stand-up comedy, and if you Google him and you see some videos, he's the Chris Franklin of Asian comedians, isn't he? He's the bogan, and I think he connected the Asian communities to the Australian community very early on. Because we are talking about, they were boat people.
Well, yeah, he was probably the first to do it.
Yeah, and fantastic, and a great Australian. Born on the 2nd of June.
In Ho Chi Minh City.
That's it, baby.
Yeah.
On the 30th of May 2003, Finding Nemo opened in US cinemas. Everybody knows I talk about Finding Nemo. I talk about a lot of children's animation a lot. You know who was in Finding Nemo, Murray?
Dave Hughes.
Almost. Bill Hunter.
Oh,
we
Bill
were talking
Hunter.
about him last week. Bill Hunter was in...
Barry Humphries too.
Yeah. Barry Humphries, Jeffrey Rush, Eric Bana, Bruce Spence. It was stacked and, of course, won an Academy Award for Best Picture.
Were they all the seagulls or the sharks?
I thought the seagulls were all Rove.
Oh, right. Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the seagulls were Rove. Mine. That was just Rove.
That was just Rove doing it, right.
Fun fact.
Oh, wow.
Internationally, on the 28th of May 1998, Phil Hartman died at age 49. I mean, when I say died, he was murdered.
Yeah, he was shot by his wife.
His wife, yeah.
And he was the voice of in The Simpsons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was Troy McClure, Lionel Hutz, a bunch of really good voices.
Yeah.
He was.
You might remember me. Is that the voice?
Yeah, I'm Troy McClure. You may remember me from such things as and also Lionel Hutz, which was the dodgy lawyer. Best character, in my opinion. He also worked across Saturday Night Live, News Radio, and of course The Simpsons. Almost done with history. On the 29th of May 1903, we got to throw it back. Bob Hope was born in Eltham, near London. Hope became one of the biggest comedy entertainers of the 20th century, with a career spanning vaudeville, radio, film, television, USO tours, and a record 19 times hosting the Academy Awards. All right, and finally, on the 30th of May 1908, Mel Blanc was born in San Francisco. Known as the man of 1,000 voices, Blanc became one of the most influential voice performers in comedy history, providing the original voices for Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Porky Pig, Tweety, and I think Sylvester?
Yeah.
I believe so. Pretty much all the Looney Tunes characters.
Wasn't he in an accident and that's how he came up with the What's Up, Doc?
Yes.
Yeah.
He came out of a coma.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Was he shot by his wife as well?
Same wife. And there ends the history segment.
The end.
It went back a little bit further than your career. Yeah, 1902 you went around. Earlier you told us that you did some reviewing of jokes, the Great Australian Joke, for Morry Fields. That's father of Marty Fields, who rides through packs of children. Then after that, what happened between there and, say, the Footy Show?
Let me see. So Russell got given the gig.
Russell Gilbert?
Russell Gilbert,
Yep.
sorry. Yes, Russell Gilbert went in, saw Daryl, got offered the job to be a writer-performer on the show, and they asked him who he would like to work with. So I got the call.
Yep.
Which was unsurprising. And so just worked as a creative consultant, I think we were called, on Hey Hey, which is like a writer who never picks up a pen. Right. And we just sat in meetings and came up with ideas and tried to stop Daryl from playing the drums. And that was pretty much life. And so it wasn't until I was just working behind the scenes, and I was sort of writing with Russell and producing his location stuff and doing the rest of that. And it wasn't until one day I got a late call up. Jeff Stilson, the American comic, great American comic, was booked to appear on the show. And but apparently he was only out here on a holiday visa or something. And Actors Equity, they were at the time, stepped in and put the kibosh on that. So they were stuck for a 4-minute spot.
Yep.
And so I got the late tap. So I just got up and did a spot there, and that went okay. I did another one and finished up. Daryl got me to do a live cross after the grand final.
Ooh.
And it was how it went well is a complete miracle, to be honest.
Because it's live, right? This is all live.
Totally live.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, I shared a house with a guy during the 80s in Paran, and who was also a big footy fan, and we always used to laugh at some of Peter Landy's standard lines in a grand final, like 36 tired boys out there, all the rest of that, and especially if one team's getting beaten, he'd always say, "Oh, you wouldn't want to be the comedian at the Collingwood Social Club tonight."
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Right.
So anyway, so Daryl's organised for 2 live crosses.
Yep.
One from the winners' rooms, well, from both teams.
Yep.
So someone's going to be in the winners' rooms and someone's going to be in the losers' function.
Right.
So I'm in the Geelong function, and so I go to the game, and they played West Coast, and the game was over by quarter time.
Right.
Geelong just got absolutely smashed, and I'm sitting there in the grandstand going, well, this is your Peter Landy nightmare. This is my first live cross, and I'm going to be in the losing team's grand final function.
Yeah.
How's this going to go? So I go up Geelong's function was at the Hilton, so I just had to walk up the hill after the game and went to the function. And, as is commensurate with losing, doesn't seem to be as many people at the function as there might have been.
Oh, yes.
And I'm standing around wondering what the hell I'm going to do. And a little bit of performing experience came in at this point. As I'm looking around going, oh, wow, it'd be really good to, if we could, stack up some tables and chairs and, act like there's nobody here. I'm going, but I can't ask them to do that, okay? That's probably a bit much.
Yeah.
But I'm looking around the hill and I see that part of the room's actually petitioned off.
Right.
Okay, so I went, okay. Opened up the petition, had a look behind. What's there? Chairs and tables all stacked up.
Right.
So I finished up getting Mark Bairstow, who is the captain of Geelong, and Billy Brownless. And I went, okay, we're not going to try and sugarcoat this, right? Could you guys just
Because we're talking about a TV live cross. So you're setting the scene.
Trying to set up the scene for the live cross.
I get it here.
I'm saying, boys, I said, let's not bullshit around, okay? This is what I'm going to do if I'm doing crosses. We're actually going to tell the truth. It's going to revolutionise the live cross.
Yeah.
So you guys just act devastated. They went, yeah, big stretch that. So I got them into the section behind the petition with the chairs and tables stacked up around. Yeah. And, made out that absolutely nobody had turned up. But, of course, Daryl Summers is Geelong's #1 ticket holder.
Oh, dear.
Okay? So we're doing the cross. The boys are going with it. We're getting some laughs. But it's my first cross, so we've only got one-way audio. So Daryl can hear us.
Yep.
I've got an earpiece in so I can hear Daryl in the studio. But Billy and Mark Bairstow have got no audio.
Yep.
So we're getting towards the end, and Daryl says, look, he's got to square up. He's got to square up because the boys are all being all downcast. So he's got to, lift the mood for his team.
Yep.
And he says, look, I know the boys can't hear me, but can you tell them from me? And he starts, right? And he just keeps going and going. So for the first 15 or 20 seconds, I'm standing there going, okay, time for me. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's a good season. Yeah, proud of your efforts here. Did well to get here. But he just keeps going. After about 40 seconds, I'm just standing there going, there's no way known I'm going to remember this.
Yeah.
But I'm getting a little titter from the studio audience in my ear. And I go, okay, the audience has twigged that I'm never going to remember this, right? Yeah. And I know the boys can't hear me is the key, right?
Yeah,
so Daryl goes for like a full minute and a half. It would be shit TV to repeat that anyway.
Of course it would be.
And I'm a comedian, and he has just given me the biggest setup of all time.
Nice.
So he finishes up. Anyway, so Trev, tell the boys that from me. And I went, no worries, Daryl. And I turned to him and I said, look, I know you couldn't hear that, guys, but Daryl said that was actually piss poor and you better lift your game. That was shit. And the studio audience just absolutely erupted. I've given Daryl the biggest stitch up on my very first cross. And, of course, I only had to go from, the Hilton to Richmond, so I get there, half an hour later, and, I've got a hero's welcome back in the studio. Everyone's coming up going, that was the funniest thing ever. You'll never work on this show again.
And did you work on that show again?
Well, I did.
Oh, we did. Okay.
Well, that's the thing is that, it was a pretty piss funny moment. So, the next week I walked into Daryl's office and he's sitting there. He said, so Trev, what are you doing on the weekend? I said, not sure, Daryl, what am I doing? He said, how would you like to go to Tumut to the Festival of the Falling Leaf? I said, what's happening there? He said, absolutely nothing. And I went, I'd love to go. And that became the second cross I did, and that sort of went really well. And so it just became a staple that we did the live crosses. And from starting off going to Tumut, finished up doing live crosses from Lords in London for the cricket.
Oh, it got better.
We went to Rio Carnival.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Massively better. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
So, but that's how that all started. And same with Tumut. I got to Tumut with 45 minutes to spare.
Yep.
Before we were going to air, and the OB van was set up just in a park. Just a park.
Yeah.
It's a park with oak trees and there's a toilet block down one end.
Yep.
There's nothing. I've just caught a plane, got in the hire car, driven for a couple of hours, got to Tumut, and we're standing in a park. I'm thinking I could have just done this 50 metres from my house if I'm just standing in a park.
And what is it about? Autumn leaves?
It was Festival of the Falling Leaf.
Right.
And so I'm going, to the OB guy and going, what the hell? What is this? There's nothing here.
A car boot
Can't
sale.
do a cross with nothing. And they go, we can't get a signal out from anywhere else. This is the only place we can get a signal out.
Right.
I'm going, well, this is, and also an insult to the people of Tumut to turn up and act and not go to their festival and act like it's shit.
Yeah.
Right? So so the producer said, look, now get in the car, go to the main street, see what's happening. I went, okay. So I drove up to the main street, and basically it's over. There's there's a Ferris wheel. It's about 3 foot high for kids.
Yep.
There's where the wood chop had been, and there's a bandstand with the local sort of community band, they're all 100 not out, wearing red coats and playing tubas and trombones and shit.
They were probably the red coats that old.
So I got in the car, I went back, and the boys were going, okay, where are we going? I went, just here, be fantastic, thanks.
Oh, it's another.
Right, so now we're standing in the park, and I say to the producer, said, go to the local pub, ask there, who is the guy from the local footy club that's always getting his gear off? And she went, are you sure? I said, what if we can't find one? I said,
There'll be
don't
one.
worry. I swear, 5 minutes later, the car pulls up, jumps out. I've got him. He's here. So I just set up this thing and I was inspired by the fact that there were so many massive oak leaves just lying on the ground. And I thought, okay, that's sort of like fig leaf-ish.
Adam and Eve.
So
I get it.
I finished up. We got the guy to stand naked with an oak leaf over the
the private bits.
nether regions.
Yep.
And we got 20 or 30 girls from the town to just sit cross-legged in the park. And I had an opening line. That's all I had. is that, as we panned across, you see a guy, you see the girl sitting there cross-legged, you see a naked guy in front of a tree wearing the oak leaf.
Yeah.
And I had my opening line. I said, we're here at the Falling Leaf Festival in Tumut, and we're just waiting for the festival to start.
You're just waiting for the last leaf to fall, right?
Yeah.
And so are the girls, I get it.
And we
Very
finished up, it finished up being a riot. John Black was on fire. We got plenty of laughs out of it. And it kind of took off from there. But I look back now and think my first 2 crosses were from the losing rooms of the grand final team and from a park in the middle of nowhere where there was nothing. I said, how we managed to make that work.
You were set up to fail and you came out the hero. That's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and Daryl, it was just complete stitch up to send me there.
Yeah.
But, we made it work.
Do you know who the real winners are here? Is the next year, that festival would have been so well attended.
Oh, no, but at the end, I got chased out of town.
With pitchforks.
Well, yeah, because I did the line, which it's a line that people always remind me of. I said, I've only got 2 words to say about Tumut, and the second one is Tumut. And we finished up bagging the town so much that people came down at the end of the cross and they were furious.
I don't even know where it is. You flew there, so it's New South Wales? Or?
New South Wales, yeah. So, they're coming out of the pub going, you're bagging Tumut, mate.
Yeah.
You're bagging Tumut. Well, we had to beat a very hasty retreat. And the pity is, because I could never, ever go back there, is that when we left the next day and I'm seeing it in the daylight for the first time, it's actually a really beautiful place.
Well, this is a call out to anyone listening to this who is from Tumut or knows someone from Tumut. Am I saying it correctly?
Tumut? Yeah, T-U-M-U-T.
UT. We would love to hear from you. There is an option within the website to record your audio. So if you would like and you didn't get an opportunity to tell Trevor at the time what you thought of him and his cross, then feel free to...
Well, while we're at it, let's open it up to the people of Morry as well.
Oh my God, okay.
Well, to be fair, I think everyone's had a crack at Morry.
Well, I did the line. It wasn't even my joke. It was just a joke that was going around at the time, that Morry stands for moccasins on everyone.
Yeah.
And they took massive offence to that. I got letters of complaint. And I think I got a call from ABC Radio a couple of years ago, and this is how deep it goes, is that they were doing sort of, a tour of regional areas doing live broadcasts, and they were doing Morry, and they wanted me to come down and square up because it's still a scar on the town.
Wow.
After all these years.
Wow.
So Dan Andrews can't get a statue in Melbourne because that'll be damaged and graffitied. The same for you? No Trevor Marmalade in Morry or Tumut?
Well, I suggested that they just, instead of, having this cultural cringe, why not just embrace it? Have a moccasin parade.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? Do something. I said, I'll come down the street in a big moccasin float, if you like. But, they didn't go for that.
No.
Weird. I grew up in a small country town, and I think that we loved to take the piss out of our town. So I don't know.
You could sell moccasins in the local shops. You could,
That's it. You're just
embrace.
trying to
Embrace.
It seems like you're going around decimating the egos of towns, but actually you're trying to help them.
They just don't have the same attitude that you have, taking a bad thing and making it into something that's positive.
Which
right?
I think is quintessentially Australian. That's like the most Aussie thing ever.
Yeah.
You heard it, Morry. You're not Australian.
Yeah.
In fact, you're un-Australian.
Un-Australian, Morry.
Anyway, you can get on with the Tumut people. I am never listening to this.
So I mentioned to you, Trev, pre-recording that I like to throw in a bit of interesting trivia into the mix. So I don't know if you know this.
I don't know if you know this, kids. Has it ever made you
In 2019, British stand-up comedian Ian Cognito died on stage during a gig at Bicester, England.
Did anyone notice because he was incognito?
Well, Cognito, whose real name was Paul Barbieri.
You can bet that people thought it was part of the act.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Initially.
He suffered a fatal aortic dissection, which for those of you who don't know,
splits.
Yeah, is extremely painful. It's not a heart attack. It's where your aorta bursts.
Yeah.
Mid-show. Minutes earlier, he'd actually joked about dying in front of his audience, and then he sat down on a stool, was breathing heavily, and fell silent. And people thought it was part of the bit. So they were all laughing. Audience members later said it took 5 minutes before anyone realised that something was wrong. So that's 5 minutes on stage in silence is a long time.
And it's a long time with a burst aorta.
Oh, yeah.
Even longer.
You can't hold your breath that long. I imagine you can't have no blood for that long.
Eventually, the MC went on stage to check on him, still half expecting Cognito to suddenly scare him as part of the act. Once it became clear that it was real, 2 off-duty A&E nurses and a police officer in the audience tried to save him, but he died at the venue.
I don't think you can save anyone from that because you'd have to literally cut the
Correct.
skin open.
You would
go
have to
in.
immediately. It's immediate bleed out situation.
Yeah,
You're not
yeah.
going to survive it. He had never become a household name. He was respected in the UK comedy circuit
Until now.
Until now, he won a Time Out award for stand up in 1999. So he was very respected in the community, but never known because his aorta burst on stage, I guess.
And he's more famous for that than he is of his comedy.
Oh, life.
Oh, dear.
How cruel.
Is there any comedians, Trevor, that you have met over the years that you wish their aorta had burst?
Actually, reminds me in reverse of one of the great episodes of the Gary Shandling show back in the day where Gary's, doing his stand-up monologue at the start of the show and one of the members of the audience laughs so hard he dies.
Oh, no.
Oh.
But the classic line from it is that Carl Reiner is on the show later in that episode and Gary's pouring his heart out going, I killed a guy, I killed him. And Carl's going, Steve Martin used to kill 2-3 a year. And Gary's going, oh, really? Oh. Yeah. He does use props though.
Oh, my God. How they bounce back so quickly in showbiz.
Isn't that wonderful? I love Top Gear. You know Top Gear, the original Top Gear boys, Jeremy Clarkson, Richard Hammond and James May, always had an agreement that if any of them died during the filming, which Richard Hammond came close a bunch of times, the only way they'd acknowledge it on the show is to go, anyway. And that was an agreement they all had. So I think that's nice.
Oh, my God. Amazing. Well, we are in that time near the end of the show where I talk about funny in the moment, Trevor. Now, we are local City of Port Phillip people. I live in South Melbourne. I often wander the streets with my dog sometimes, go to Bunnings in Port Melbourne, and I have conversations with people out in the open, strangers mostly, and I say something funny in the moment. And sometimes I get a reaction that's hilarious. They go, they laugh. And sometimes they look at me like the lady at she was the sausage sizzle at Bunnings, and I made a joke. In fact, I made a joke about Morry. I made a joke. She said,
What a hater.
She said about my dog Luna, she said, why does your dog have a mullet? And I said, because it's from Morry. That was in a previous episode, right? You remember that? Yeah, we'll have to go back.
Okay, well, you can get on and bag Morry as well. Now, Morry?
Morry, there we go. I'm in the bad books. So here we go. This time I'm not talking about Luna. I'm not talking about Bunnings.
Wow.
Yep. So last weekend, my parents, elderly parents, my mum's in her late 70s, my father's in his early 80s, came over. Every month I do a roast because they don't get around to cooking a roast for themselves anymore. So I do the roast, and my mum likes a white wine, so I'm not a big white wine drinker.
Shardy or Savvy B? What are we talking?
Wet. is good enough. And that being said, I went down to the local BWS where you get the wettest of wet wines at the best prices. You know what I mean? Don't tell her. And so anyway, I went down there, picked up this wine, and I think the card that I was using, I had very little money on it. I don't put a lot of money on that card because in case it gets nicked.
Yeah, the old transfer. You've always got to. Everyone gets stuck with the transfer.
And so there we were. I'm standing in front of the counter, and the fellow says it's whatever it was. I had a bottle of wine and I had 6-pack of beer on the counter, and that's important because I tapped the card and I waited and I waited and I waited. Bing, and it went approved. Oh, and I said to the staff over the counter at BWS, I said, "Thank God, now my children can drink." It was a line of the old, now my children can eat, right?
Yes,
It was, but clearly no children were harmed in the making of this joke. My 17-year-old son still does not drink, and I believe him.
Well, I'll give you one. I was at the pub recently, and this couple came up and come up, say, "G'day, Trev. Yeah, love your work, etc., etc."
Yep.
And we're having a chat, and I'm looking at this guy and I'm going, actually look very similar. I go, "You guys related?" And the guy was crestfallen, and the girl just went, "We go to the same plastic surgeon." That's how we met.
Oh my God.
That's so bad.
There's a style.
You do see it, yeah. Everyone
Yeah.
who gets too much plastic. And also plastic surgery now it ages people. I see women much younger than me, but they've got the fillers and the lips. And to me, that just says like 45 plus. I don't know what it is, but like all the done. Anyway, that's a small
Yeah, well,
little
you
rant.
could tell they went to the same one because their faces were the similar
Exact
shape.
same.
Similar shape.
That's-
Sort of chiseled the same way.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
I know some people say, you marry or you date people that look like you. There's been many cases.
Well, I never have.
No?
Yeah, it's not.
There are studies that say that people partner with people of equal
Appearance?
appearance and aesthetic, and apparently it's a biological imperative for breeding.
Right.
The more attractive you are, generally, the better your genetic makeup. So people tend to partner with that. That's why you see a lot of uggos with uggos and a lot of good-looking people with it. It's not a coincidence, guys.
Right.
Well, yeah. I just don't want to date someone as ugly as myself.
Oh, that's where you were going with that one, Trevor.
basically.
You're not.
Date up, idiot.
Yeah. Punching above your belt.
What choice do I have?
On that note, Sam Newman. Which on the Footy Show, he's well known for having a little bit of work done. He's about 70 now, isn't he?
He would be at least that now.
Yeah. Any gossip do you want to share? Times on the Footy Show that Sam was particularly Samish?
Sam, look, people get the wrong idea about Sam. Sam was an absolutely hilarious character and much love behind the scenes at the Footy Show. And the best thing about Sam is that he hated meetings.
Yeah.
He really hated the meetings. He would basically, he took the attitude that nothing we ever talk about on a Tuesday morning when we have a production meeting is ever on the show by Thursday night.
Right.
He said, it's a waste of time. So consequently, he would come in, he would stand in the doorway. He wouldn't sit down. He'd stand in the doorway while there's a dozen of us sitting around the table. He would stand there for 10 to 15 minutes and regale us with piss funny stories about how he's completely fucked up over the previous week. And then he'd go, all right, I'm out of here. I'm doing street talk.
Yep.
And away he'd go.
Off to
and
Werribee.
it was good. It was good. It was so funny. And then, the adults got to actually get together in the room and talk about what's really going on.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, there you go. So that was the secret sauce of the Footy Show.
That was Sam. But Sam was absolutely fantastic to work with. Like, I remember he got run over by his girlfriend at the time. She ran him down in a car.
Right.
On purpose? Or?
Yes, deliberately.
At the front of his Pamela Anderson
But it was
home?
funny, right? If it was the other way around, maybe
Yeah,
not so
not
much.
so
You can't do that.
But she ran down Sam, so it's hilarious. And so he's in hospital with his ankle broken in 17 places or something, wherever she got him. And I thought I should ring the old boy, wish him well. And so he picks up the phone, and his standard, when he picks up the phone, he never says hello. He always goes, who is it?
Right.
So I ring Sam. Who is it? It's Trev. I said, who is it? I said, Trev. Guy behind the bar. He went, oh, Trev. Yeah. He said, mate. He said, don't worry, mate. I know it's all showbiz. Go as hard as you like. Yeah, I know. And I went, mate, I was actually ringing to say, how are you?
Yeah, right.
Are you okay? Not ask your permission to hang shit on you.
Yeah.
But thanks.
Good on him. Good on him.
And did you? And was shit
Oh,
hung?
for sure.
Oh, good.
Oh, yes, very much so.
Very
I mean,
good.
yeah, green light from Sam. I mean, Eddie wasn't always that keen on it.
Yeah.
I have a question about Sam. Is his old property heritage protected, or is it just a choice that people keep?
Pamela
the
Anderson?
Pammy Anderson garage. Because I remember my mum was a big fan of like New Idea and Women's Weekly and all of those like rag magazine sort of things. And I remember when that house was built and the garage, and I was like, oh, this guy's a fucking player. And I still drive past it all the time. Is it protected or something? Is that part of
We're
the
talking about Canterbury Road in, I think, St Kilda East.
Yes, if you're around, guys, it's a
No,
landmark.
St Kilda West, sorry. Yeah.
St Kilda West, yeah.
It's a landmark. It's Pamela Anderson in a blue sort of hue. I believe it's the garage.
Well, the thing
facade.
about that, Lil, and this is so typically Sam, it actually wasn't even his idea. He was getting the place built because they sold that whole patch of land alongside the light rail there
Yep.
on the other side of
96.
Canterbury Road.
Yep.
to build place, and he bought the land. He hired an architect, and the architect, she said to him, "Oh, how about this for an idea?" And he went, "Yeah, all right, that sounds good."
I love that. I love that it was a woman as well, because it
Yes.
takes away all the rhetoric of like, this is so objectifying and sexist. It was a chick that did it, guys.
Was he particularly a Pamela Anderson fan? No, probably not.
But it became so
But
synonymous with him. That's
She
funny.
went, "Oh, this will be, this will make it a landmark. This will stand out."
I wonder
And
if
he went,
Pammy's had a look at it when she's come to Australia. Interesting.
And it's important that it's Pamela Anderson's face.
Yeah.
Nothing,
Yes.
and nothing lower.
That's it. Her third best asset.
There we go. You heard it from a woman, even though she's a massive.
Misogynist. The misogyny is coming from inside the house, guys. I'm not. It's fine. I think that's wrapping it up.
I think it will
guys.
have to, yeah.
Looking at that timer over there, we love a good yap. Cool episode, honestly.
Yeah, great.
Good chats, and I think that's probably where we should call it.
Time flies.
Time flies when you're drinking 500ml beers.
And if anyone wants to bump into you at a pub in Port Melbourne, or maybe book you for maybe a TV show about football that's been axed because of political incorrectness, how do they get in contact with you, and will you answer them if they do?
You can find me somewhere.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
lurking around.
It is, but in Port Melbourne at a particular pub.
What do? We do the Graham a bit, the Exchange, the Pier, local maybe.
Oh, that's all sort of 100 metres from your house.
Yeah, all stumbling distance.
Yeah.
From my
I believe
house.
that's called the Trevor Marmalade pub crawl, which is for anyone else, it's a Tuesday night on the way home from work.
Wouldn't
Iconic.
even work.
Yeah, no, it's been big for me to leave 3207 and come to 3206. You realise?
That is big jumps. Big jumps.
Can't relate 3205 over here. Don't talk to me. All right, I think that's about it, and that's been another episode, Moz.
Of
This Week in
Incredibly
Comedy.
rock and roll.
How would you cook that?
Be more entertaining. I'm glad you like that. It's a little bit of weed.